Ankit, I just want to bring to everybody's attention, this panel is diverse because Ankit also brings in the fact that the private sector has now been involved in India's security architecture. This is something which is new for India. It has not always been the case. Ankit, I wanted to understand from you, what kind of a boost or shot in the arm do you feel the private sector or young companies like yourself, IdeaForge, brings in to the armed forces? And just to add, IdeaForge drones were used by the Indian Army for surveillance purposes during Operation Sindoor. So what kind of a arc does that add to our security apparatus?
No, thanks, Shivan. First of all, thank you for inviting me for this panel. I think WION is a channel that you go to often to get not just local but a global perspective on news and areas that we care about deeply on the strategic side. In terms of the private sector contribution, I think since the time defense has opened up to the private sector, a lot of work has been happening over the years, but I would say a lot of that work was foundational in getting us where we are today. We've been around as IdeaForge for the last 20 years, and we have ensured that each and every subsystem that goes into our platforms is actually designed and developed in the country. Now what that does is it's going to usher in a future where we will not be dependent on critical intelligence or areas that need adaptation on field, because one of the realities of war is that the speed of adaptation on ground is changing rapidly. People are evolving their countermeasures and their countermeasures faster than it was ever possible before, because most of the war is becoming robotic and software defined, or the tactics are changing very, very fast. And therefore, having local capability of adapting to it, of the private industry being involved, and as more and more technology is involved in warfare, we will need that muscle, otherwise we won't be able to sustain our strategic autonomy. Because we have seen now 2-3 things in the wars that have happened. One is we've seen that there has been a threat on the sabotage, on the assets that we have. There is threat of denial. And all of this can rob us of our strategic autonomy when it comes to war. So I think what we bring in as a young generation, a young crop of businesses, is that we are bringing in that ability to be able to do that right from the grounds up in the country. And I think that pace is going to accelerate in an unprecedented way over the next few years.